want to start here where we started at the beginning. We have 14 episodes remaining of this program on Fox. And at the beginning, we were told that what we're telling you is a bunch of lies. Now they don't say that because we have a long, long history, a record of being right. But what should you do? Well, prepare for tough times, prepare to help others, prepare to explain and teach the truth. I've been thinking about what I want to talk to you about for the next 14 episodes, and tonight I want to stop here, and we may spend some time over the next few days on this, and it's going to seem ridiculous to you, but it's not. Another restaurant brawl, this time dozens brawling outside of McDonald's in San Jose, California. Now, you may not think this is important, but it is. The fight took place Thursday night at a parking lot outside of McDonald's. The crowd turned into a mob of more than 100 people, many of whom began screaming and yelling and throwing punches when the fight broke out. 5 people were injured, at least 2 people were stabbed. Police are not saying that it's gang-related, but they're not saying it either because gang members were involved. The motive, they say, may have been racial tensions. Police say a warm evening just turned into an all-out melee after a fun summer concert downtown. Oh, remember those warm summer evenings that turned into riots when we were a kid? Oh, good times. Apparently, word's out that the police have had cutbacks and San Jose is feeling the impact. Check out this local report.
Nearby businesses are frustrated because they say police ignored their calls earlier in the night when they called for help.
There was a fight before the stabbing, and there was a very small crowd. We notified the police department, and no police officer showed up for a couple hours, and then the crowd just kept getting bigger and bigger.
The city is facing budget problems like everyone else. So, of course, what are they doing? Well, police protection, naturally, first thing you cut. Don't start with administrative cuts or garbage or recycling. No. Go immediately for police, firefighters, and teachers. America, we have to have the courage to notice the insanity and stop it in our neighborhoods. We have to have the courage to notice the changes in our society. We have to have the courage and the moral backbone. Otherwise, we lose the underpinnings of a decent society. And when and if this economy begins to collapse here and worldwide, America will collapse. There are signs everywhere. This morning, I was on one of the I'm going to admit to you, I do read the economiccollapseblog.com. I do. But I want to show you, it's not a happy place, but I want to show you an article that I found this morning. 18 signs of the collapse of society is accelerating. There's also another 12 there, but you can read all about it. There is an alarm bell, and that's what these stories are really all about. The violence. Number 4 states this most recent Memorial Day weekend, cities all over America literally turned into war zones. There were reports of mass violence in Miami, New York, Chicago, Charlotte, Myrtle Beach, Nashville, and Boston, among other places. Then they point out something else that is disturbing and is happening here in New York, mob robbing. That's number 18. Quote, from coast to coast, mob robbing has become a very disturbing trend. So what is a mob robbing? Well, that's basically dozens of kids going in and storming into a store together and grabbing whatever they want and then leaving. Recent examples of this have been caught on video in Washington, D.C., and Las Vegas, and here in New York. And have you heard about the violence in Chicago? I know this is getting some press coverage, but really? Their youth in Chicago is so out of control, tourists are now being told not to go to the Magnificent Mile, which is the city's primary shopping district. Again, they're not talking about the West Bank or sections of Beirut. We're talking about Chicago, Illinois. From the Wall Street Journal, quote, police here are girding for another weekend of flash mob attacks after arresting 29 people in connection with a recent rash of assaults and robberies in and around the city's shopping and dining district. 12 crimes involving large groups of young men were reported last weekend, in addition to others earlier this spring. The attacks have received wide attention in Chicago because they have occurred around the city's affluent north side, including near the Magnificent Mile, a Michigan Avenue strip popular with tourists. On Memorial Day in Chicago, there were at least 6 dead, at least 21 wounded in separate incidents. That would be, America, a terrible day for our troops in Afghanistan, but it's in Chicago. Last April, Chicago lawmakers begged for the National Guard. Fox reported, quote, 2 lawmakers who believe violence had become so rampant in Chicago that the Illinois National Guard must be called up to help. They made a public plea to the governor to deploy troops. The reason why I bring this up is because this is part of the preparation. We have just assumed that our children will be like us, but they don't have the foundation that we had. It's imperative that now, as responsible citizens who are awake, that we don't just sit in front of our TVs and say, yeah, yeah, or even better, yeah, well, we're America and we'll always be America. Let me tell you something. It's imperative that you get involved. Turn the damn TV off right now if you have to. Talk with your kids and your grandkids. Teach them through example. They don't learn just through osmosis. They're not trees. It must be taught. It must be taught first to ourselves. How much have you learned on this program that you didn't even know 27, 29 months ago? It has to be taught to you, and then we need to teach it to our families and our neighbors. Save your family, save America. Tomorrow I'm starting a new project on the Constitution, and you can find out all about it at glennbeck.com. It's something that is very exciting, I think, to help teach the founding arguments, the original arguments about the Constitution, something that we must learn. It's the ultimate way of being prepared so you can save the Republic and the Western way of life. Back in a minute.